Welcome to CVTV News. I'm Deidre Haven.
And I'm David Kerr.
And we want to thank our sponsor, Germanna Community College. Hey, David, I hear you've got a story. It sounds like something from a movie. And
Yes, it is. Be on the lookout. It sounds like a line in a 1960s detective show. But it sums up the outcome of an amazing car chase in Stafford County. One that stretched the entire length of the county. The Stafford County Sheriff's Office is searching for the suspect who's behind the pursuit that occurred over the weekend following a traffic stop. On Sunday, February 3rd, 2019, just a few days ago, at approximately 11:04 a.m. in the morning, Deputy Leung observed a red two-door vehicle traveling westbound on Kings Highway at a high rate of speed. Remember, we're in the southern part of the county now. He stopped the speeder near the intersection of Kings Highway and Little Street. The deputy then made contact with the driver, assuming this was basically a routine traffic stop, and asked for his driver's license and registration. The driver said he did not have a driver's license and reluctantly turned over his registration after the deputy repeatedly requested it. I'm sure the deputy knew something was up. Deputy Leung returned to the cruiser to run the tags, and they returned to a different vehicle, indicating that there was a strong possibility that the vehicle was stolen. The suspect vehicle then began to drive away at a high rate of speed. A pursuit ensued on Kings Highway, prompting the deputy to call for additional units. The suspect vehicle abruptly changed lanes on several occasions and struck an orange barrel in a work zone. It gets better. At the intersection of the Blue and Gray Parkway, the vehicle went through a red light, it still gets better, without stopping. The vehicle went through another red light at the intersection of Butler Road and Chatham Heights Road, and then traveled over the double yellow lines to pass a vehicle. Very, very dangerous. The suspect vehicle turned onto Colonial Avenue and then Forbes Street when attempting to turn onto Route 1. The suspect vehicle went through a stop sign without stopping and then hit the rear end of a vehicle traveling on Route 1. It still gets better. The suspect then got stuck in the median on Route 1. Deputy Leung exited his vehicle and commanded the driver to exit the vehicle. Jigs up. However, it wasn't. The suspect vehicle was able to get out of the median and began traveling southbound on Route 1. So we've kind of done a double take and headed back south. The deputy followed the suspect vehicle onto Route 17 and then onto the intersection of 95 northbound. Now we're starting to head to the northern end of the county. The suspect vehicle passed several vehicles by traveling on the right and left shoulders of I-95. The deputy then observed the suspect vehicle exit the interstate onto Garrisonville Road westbound, that's towards the firing range and the Marine base, and then spin around so that he was facing the deputy's vehicle. The suspect vehicle then careened into the front of the deputy's vehicle before proceeding to turn left on Route 1 northbound and then left onto I-95 northbound. It was getting pretty hairy at this point. Additional units continued the pursuit on the interstate. Once the suspect crossed the Prince William County line, Virginia State Police units took over as primary pursuit. The pursuit was ultimately terminated after units lost sight of the vehicle. Deputy Leung confirmed that the identity of the driver matched the DMV photo of the registered owner of the vehicle. The suspect has been identified as Brittany Bates, a man, 34, of King George. Warrants have been obtained for felony eluding, felony hit and run, felony destruction, reckless driving, driving revoked, identity theft, providing false identity to law enforcement, and several other violations. The suspect, this is the scary part, remains at large. Anyone with information on the whereabouts and his whereabouts is asked to contact the Sheriff's Department at 540-658-4400. Deirdre, I understand we've had a train robbery too.
well, not recently and not as high speed and action-packed as your story. It's a local mystery. As you know, we do our share of crime stories on CVTV, but did you know that we once had a train robbery? And what's more, not all the stolen loot was accounted for. It happened back in 1894. Two suspects, Charles Jasper Searchy and Charles Morgan, both of whom were later convicted, heard from a friend that a passenger train was going through Fredericksburg and that one of the cars carried an American Express vault on board.
Just like my card. Same company.
The robbers boarded the train at Fredericksburg as ticket-paying riders. They then made their way forward and took control of the engine at gunpoint. They told the engineer to stop near the Aquia station, which is approximately where the Brook VRE station is now.
This is the very same line that we're still in use today.
Yes. Horses were waiting. This was an organized affair. They then blasted open the safe, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid style, and relieved it of its contents.
Did you use enough dynamite there, Butch?
Used a lot of dynamite. Then they ordered all of the passengers to disembark, at which point the robbers disconnected the engine from the rest of the train. They set the engine's throttle on full open position and sent it north on its own. An urgent telegram was sent when an engine flew by the Widewater station a few miles north in Stafford. The train eventually came off the tracks at the Quantico station. In the meantime, the robbers, with their loot, mounted their horses and headed east.
That'd be towards the river.
Right. They then doubled back and were eventually arrested in Culpeper a few days later. One of the robbers was spending his money more freely than seemed reasonable, and deputies, helped by Pinkerton detectives, caught up with him. His partner was also arrested. Both of them were found guilty by the Stafford County jury. Several years later, after Mr. Searchy was released from prison, he was seen in Stafford.
The scene of the crime.
Near the scene of the crime. It seemed as if he was looking for something, but he was quickly persuaded to leave. That's the last time anyone saw either one of them. But since American Express never reported how much was stolen, there remains an open question as to what might have happened to the cash and the gold the robbers might or might not have been carrying.
I need to go get my metal detector. I'll see you later. Well, Delegate Mark Cole will have an opponent this fall. Remington attorney Ms. Jess Foster has announced her intention to seek the Democratic nomination for the House of Delegates in the 88th District. Foster made her announcement last week in Fredericksburg. She is a strong advocate for the Equal Rights Amendment, which passed the Senate this year but hasn't passed the House, and supports more funding for teacher pay. Other issues that she's concerned about include universal pre-kindergarten, paid family and medical leave, and juvenile justice reform. The incumbent, Mark Cole, was first elected in 2001 and currently serves as the chairman of the House Privileges and Elections Committee.